Thank you for joining us today.
This is a work from home deep dive into some of the solutions that are going to allow employees who are now facing work from home environments like never before. I'd also like to bring to the table some experts from different organizations who'd like to speak with you about some of the services that they offer.
At Technology Source, we often refer to the elements of business success. This table allows us to quickly communicate the vast offerings we source on behalf of our clients. These range from cybersecurity, business optimization, software and applications, connectivity, voice and communications, marketing services, mobility, and cloud and infrastructure.
Granite, we're 1.5 billion annual revenue, and we have 2,300 employees. And then we're privately held, no debt. So we have a part of the value of us is that we have a domestic call center that's 24/7 and flat decision-making abilities within the company due to being privately held. I also want to note that we do have EIS compliances with the government. So I wanted to give you the strength of our network. Out of 150 that applied to work with the DoD, there were 9 chosen and 1's bankrupt. And then the other 8 surviving is Granite is a part of that. So we can actually aggregate and wholesale with multiple carriers and be compliant with the DoD. So that's what sets us apart from the others. We just won 2 contracts over the last week with the DoD. With that, I just wanted to kind of hand this over to Leah.
Great, thanks so much, Brandy. My name is Leah Schechter with Granite. Great to virtually meet you all today. So this month in March, I'm actually celebrating my 10th year anniversary with Granite, which is super exciting. I started my career at Granite in our Premier department, and I led a team of account managers who oversaw day-to-day account management and operations. So I also bring my expertise from the ops side into my current role. For the past couple years as a client development manager, I've been working with numerous clients out here on the West Coast. I work alongside Technology Source to identify clients' pain points and bring them the best-in-class solutions along with cost savings, invoice consolidation, and improved customer support. I also work with our technical resources such as solution engineers. So I just wanted to say hello, and I will turn it over to Mark Palmer.
Good morning and afternoon to everybody. Sonia said what I do, so I'll leave it at that. I've been with Granite since we started, and really just looking to talk about trends that we've seen in the last 2 weeks, how we've been able to help customers navigate things that are going on, some of the products we've come up with to help along those lines. So realistically, some of the reasons that have driven the last 2 weeks of buying, I guess, by customers have been really driven by 3 separate ideas. One is that there is a lot of lost revenue out there. People aren't able to operate like they used to, and it's affecting bottom line, affecting inbound revenue. So in order to try and offset some of that, historically, the way we got our start was just wholesaling a lot of mundane, really commoditized products, POTS lines, wireless services, broadband. And the leverage we bring with our wholesale solution is just able to drive immediate savings. Because they're typically bill flips, it's just something that if you have something with AT&T, we can drive costs down. It happens immediately and it affects your next bill. So that's one thing. Then you have work model changes and time of without disruption to business. Those are the other 2 things that we've seen driving a lot of the movement in the last 2 weeks. So work model changes specifically, people who have to work from home is one model. Moving people, and I know the 2 previous guys have talked a lot about this. And the things that we've seen needed for that, typically UCaaS, so Unified Communications as a Service, primarily for people who haven't gone to a SIP-based solution or a hosted phone solution yet. People with PRIs that serve the majority of their voice communications, being able to turn up paths within 24 hours and get people working at home immediately is important. And then specific people might need to get meeting seats. So like a conference bridge like this where you can share screens, share applications, collaborate with others. Then you have others that have to work with less. You think of the restaurant industry and what's going on with them today is that a lot of the people who are tip-based are better off collecting unemployment than getting very low wages and no tips because nobody's coming in. But they're still trying to do takeout business and keep their businesses afloat. So People who hadn't normally had a big takeout business now need call queuing. They need auto attendant to say, yes, we are open, we're taking orders, please hold and the next person will help you. Being able to leverage that and quickly set up stuff so that people can change their business models quickly and fluidly, those are the things that we're seeing. Also, time without disruption of business. We do have other customers that have really accelerated some of their long-term savings plans. So transitioning their networks from an older network to an SD-WAN or something like that, where now there's not going to be disruption of customers because there's no customers there. If they still have contracted employees that need to be there, leveraging our full suite of employees. So as a carrier, we're not cutting staff, we're actually adding staff today to help support people. We have a robust work from home environment, and it allows us to augment and help people to move things up that maybe they were going to do later in the year, but it won't disrupt their business today, so they want to do it now. So work from home needs, the two things that we've seen a lot of, soft seats, so it doesn't need to ship a phone, doesn't need to do anything like that. As long as you have any type of computer, a Google OS, you have a Mac or a Windows-based machine, being able to have a phone number that you can have there, call flow flexibility, the ability to simultaneously ring work groups, not necessarily a contact center. Contact center is really its own animal, and it's not something that a UCaaS seat does well. But for small call groups within a business that you want 4 phones to ring at once, that's that. And then the UCaaS meeting seat is being able to share screens, share applications, whiteboard with multiple people with video enablement as well. Some of the things that we found is that as people have started to work from home in the last 2 weeks, yesterday during one of my calls, it seemed like one of my kids was on Fortnite, one was on Minecraft, and the other was streaming Disney+. And all of a sudden I had some packet loss or some latency on my VoIP phone, which caused issues. And that's what a lot of people are seeing. So being able to send out a 4G device that people can use in a time that there's either high stress on the shared bandwidth that a typical home internet connection is, or people who are more mission critical that it doesn't matter. We have others that are quickly installing separate broadband circuits. We aggregate across every carrier so we can give people one team to manage everything. But installing those circuits for the truly needed employees so that they're not sharing that bandwidth with their children or other people in their house. So we have a wireless redundancy, a central redundancy, which is basically what I just mentioned, having a broadband circuit as well. Executive, which tailors both in with a meeting seat and monitoring, so that Granite Guardian allows us to quickly and easily see uptime, downtime, high latency, drop packets, and help to troubleshoot and get that working in real time. We really have a second item that Keith is going to talk about, but this is also affecting people and primarily the real estate investment trust market today, but it's in-building wireless challenges. And primarily what in-building wireless challenges there are is the fact that new LEED type certification buildings that have low E glass and different types of insulation do a very good job at keeping heat and cold out, but they also do a pretty good job at keeping wireless signals out. And because of that, you'll see that somebody who might have 4 bars outside their office walks inside and all of a sudden they're dropping packets. It doesn't sound good. Mobile operators aren't really concerned with in-building. If you look at what they're all doing right now, it's building out infrastructure to support 5G. They're not concerned with upping level inside specific buildings. And the building owners, they want to get less customer complaints, improve the actual building for their tenants so that it's a work from home user in an apartment building isn't saying, well, you know what, I'm month to month, I need to find somewhere where I can get not just reliable internet, but when that's down, I need to be able to get reliable cell phone service into my apartment. If you look at the market drivers, everyone's saying, oh, 5G, 5G, 5G. If you look at technology forecasts based by Ericsson, who they build these devices, they're looking at only 32% forecast of ground gained by 5G by 2023. So if you look at 2020, what it is now, it's a negligible piece of the American footprint that can get 5G. And realistically, upgrading in-building footprint is allowing customers to use their mobility a lot better. Not only that, depending on how 5G works, in-building service will likely get worse for the high frequency. That's the millimeter wave that you might hear carriers talk about in their commercials. Those won't go through a hand, they won't go through glass. They give you gig plus speeds up and down, but if you do not have inside coverage, it's not going to help you. Pretty much everything we're doing now is upgradable to 5G in the future, but it also can leverage the today low frequency. So you look at the 60 megahertz stuff that T-Mobile and other carriers are doing with 5G. So 30 days or under is our typical turnaround. We've done it in 2 weeks, but it's very quick and easy. The access points that we're using are typical to like a regular wireless access point that you'd see, but leverage cell PHY communication. And realistically, it doesn't need external wiring or different wiring like a distributed antenna system does. Regular Cat5 or Cat6 cabling can do it. And typically conduits in longer runs are available for that. So we're doing most of these in under 30 days. If you look at the traditional, there's distributed antenna system, or what people call DAS. We're usually about 25% of the cost of that. And the ability to use all 4 major carriers as opposed to just a DAS system is typically set up for carrier specific. We do hit the macro networks, so that means the big cell phone towers out there, so that our capacity is supported by those carriers. Again, how we are focused is the venue owner, whether it's the REIT, the hospital, the large building, the tenant within 3 floors of a building. Everything is focused on delivering to that venue owner. I do have a case study, something that we just did for an apartment complex. And long story short, this was a quick install, it was just under 3 weeks. And we had customers test inside service, and they had said no before because we never can make phone calls from the house. It's the first time they can make a phone call from inside their apartment. So it's something that we're seeing as people need to work from home, the building owners needing to get better service.
That's really great, and I think this service is going to be super helpful for a lot of customers out there. So I just want to thank Granite. My name is Sonia Moline, and I will close out today. Please reach out to us at Technology Source and any of our partners that are out there and advisors. That's what we're here for. You guys stay safe, and really appreciate you taking the time. I commend you for taking the time.
Join us every Tuesday from now till May at 10 a.m. Pacific Time for the Technology Source Virtual Roundtable Series.